UFC Vegas 55. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about it. Main event, Holm, Ketlen, Vieira. Make sure you guys smash the hell out of that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. And let's jump into the first fight of the night. Elise Reed versus Sam Hughes. I'm going to go with the Sam Hughes side. I think that she is going to put a lot of pressure on Elise Reed. Hughes is proven durable in that Estela Nunes fight, she was hit with a lot of great punches, keeps moving forward. Elise Reed definitely doesn't have the same power, speed, or striking precision of Estela Nunes. Now, I will say Reed's going to be a bit better on the floor. Hughes, I think, is going to have a more competitive stand-up match with Reed. Difference maker is going to be how they look in the clinch. I think Sam Hughes is better there. I think Elise Reed is going to survive. I'm not thinking it's going to be Sam Hughes running through or getting a stoppage. I think it's a very competitive fight. I think it's going to be like a spotty, close decision, maybe even split decision. But I think Sam Hughes, the durability and the pressure is a difference maker. Reed's pretty good with her stand-up game, though. She's a quick kickboxer. She's got a pretty good straight right that she throws often, sometimes overthrowing it, putting herself out of range, and maybe some counters can land there for Sam Hughes, or even potential takedown attempts for her. I like the taekwondo kicks of Elise Reed, especially that side kick with the rear leg. But again, sometimes she's a bit out of position from there, and I think Sam Hughes, with that constant heavy pressure, can get some success here. Definitely going to see, based upon the clinch and if takedowns land, we'll find out if Sam Hughes really has it live. But she is the official pick. The odds are Sam Hughes underdog, plus 130. Elise Reed, best value, minus 130. I like Sam Hughes' chances of winning a really competitive split decision. Both girls coming off wins that were very close fights. Elise Reed, it was against Corey McKenna in the last one. And then for Sam Hughes, it was the Estela Nunes fight where she came back after fighting through hell. And it was a super close fight, majority decision win. And then Reed with the split in the last one. I think it's probably going to be a split in this one. And I'm going Sam Hughes to get it done by a decision. Let's get to the next fight of the night. Chase Hooper versus Felipe Colares. I like the Felipe Colares side. Chase Hooper is just too one-dimensional. His jiu-jitsu is really good. He's 6'1", he's really long, but his stand-up is non-existent, really. I mean, I know he's training a bit with Wonder Boy, getting his striking chops up, but I think the biggest deficiency is the boxing. I think he'd maybe be better training with like a heavy boxing emphasis. His hands aren't great. His head movement isn't very good. Felipe Colares, more that Muay Thai style of striker. I think he's going to bring pretty good pressure. I think he can land some nice kicks here. Chase Hooper needs this fight on the floor. But note this, Felipe Colares is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, as is Chase Hooper. I think Colares could actually compete, if not even get advantages over Chase Hooper on the ground. I mean, he was known more as a grappler coming into the UFC, but now has shown some good Muay Thai striking skills. I think Chase Hooper's stand-up game is such a big hole that he's going to get touched up by Colares even with the boxing, and I don't think of Colares as a fantastic puncher. He's definitely superior with his kicks, but definitely going to have the edge over Chase Hooper here in this matchup. Now, Chase, the wrestling isn't great, but I could see him landing potential takedowns against the cage, dragging Colares to the floor. I do see Colares' ability to get back up, and I think he's live on the ground as well. Don't be surprised if Colares mixes in some takedowns on Chase Hooper to show he can match him in the grappling department. I like Felipe Colares win by a decision over Chase Hooper. Now, as far as the line here, Hooper's a dog, plus 143. Colares, the minus 154 favorite. I like the Colares side for the win. I think he's going to get a decision. It's a close fight in the grappling department. The striking favors Colares, and I even feel like the wrestling will favor Colares. If Hooper's going to win the fight, I think he's going to somehow get Colares' back early in the fight and look to get that submission in. If he can't find it, I think that over the 3 rounds, Colares with a clear unanimous decision over the young Chase Hooper. He's only 22, a lot of time to grow, but he's got to improve the stand-up by a long margin. Like, there's a lot of gap that's there on the striking. He's long, 6'1", 75.5-inch reach. He's definitely physically, the bigger and longer guy than Colares, but his stand-up game just isn't there at this point. So I'm going Colares for the win, and I'm going decision. Next fight of the night, Jonathan Martinez versus Vince Morales. I actually really like this bantamweight matchup. I'm going to be going with the Jonathan Martinez side. He just has a more versatile stand-up game than Vince Morales, and I always feel like when Jonathan Martinez is on point, he looks really good offensively with the striking. Now, Morales does have a bit of power. He always has the wrestling in the back pocket. Doesn't like to wrestle too much. Morales is a guy that really enjoys the stand-up, but his takedown defense is always there. If he hurts Martinez and Martinez tries to wrestle him, I think that's trouble, because Vince Morales, I can't really see being taken down by Jonathan Martinez. I'd actually not be too surprised if Morales maybe tries to wrestle a bit and lands a couple takedowns to try to throw the rhythm of Martinez off. Still, I think Martinez is going to be landing more significant strikes on the feet. He fights out of the southpaw stance. Look for that rear body kick that could potentially land on Vince Morales. We've seen Morales chop down before. It was against Chris Gutierrez with a lot of kicks. Granted, different style matchup here. Martinez in the southpaw stance. I will say Morales has some power in the hands. Big knockout over Luis Smolka in the last one. It was just one of those quick exchanges coming in close, and he caught him with the over-the-top shot. Morales has got some good hooks, and he hits hard. He's a tough guy with a peppering jab, too. But Jonathan Martinez, to me, can just do a lot more overall with the kickboxing. He's got better footwork, and I think he wins a pretty competitive, unanimous decision in this one over Vince Morales. As far as the line, Martinez minus 181, Morales plus 173. Morales definitely has a chance here. Like, I don't think he's an awful underdog if you wanted one, but I feel like Jonathan Martinez is going to get the win in this matchup over him. We'll see what happens on fight day. It's a fight that I'm looking forward to. This might be like the sleeper fight of the night here, because both guys bring the heat, and I think we got an entertaining matchup, certainly. And the Martinez side is the pick. Next fight of the night, Omar Morales versus Uros Medic. I'm going to be going with Omar Morales. I feel like he might even get the knockout here, which will be the first in the UFC, but he's got finishing ability. Medic is a fast-starting kickboxer who comes out furious. I think he's going to try to put it on Morales. Morales is a very physically strong guy. Doesn't have bad wrestling. I think he actually might look to mix in some clinch and some trips or throws from inside the clinch. Uros Medic has been taken down from that clinch position a few times throughout his career. We've seen it. I think Morales could capitalize, kind of stifling the stand-up of Medic a bit. Though, I think Morales is very dangerous striking. He can mix it up with high-level stand-up. I mean, he fought okay against Giga Chikadze. Medic a little bit more reckless than Chikadze. I think there's more openings. You look at that fight against Jailton Turner. He was getting touched up on the feet, especially the body attack. I think Morales looks to mix in maybe a bit of body attack too. Medic the southpaw, Morales orthodox. So look for that to be an interesting, I guess, X factor in the matchup. I think that Morales can land straights down the line, actually, and potentially hurt Uros Medic in this matchup. Medic's very good offensively with the stand-up, though. I think it's a difficult fight. I have a feeling somebody's getting finished here. Morales is going to be the pick, and I'm calling it by knockout. I do think he mixes in some takedowns as well to change the rhythm of the fight. Standing, because if Medic is just going forward traffic, that's what he wants. He wants a lot of pressure. He wants a lot of combos. He's got excellent kicks. And he's definitely live, but I feel like Morales is going to get the win. Minus 147 for Omar Morales. Uros Medic plus 133. I am on Omar Morales. I'm going to pick him by a knockout in the second round, which will be the first knockout win in his UFC career. He definitely has the power to do it. Just the fight has got to come to him, and it's got to happen. I think he's got a dance partner that's looking for the finish, and I think somebody's going unconscious in this matchup, and I'm going to say it's going to be Medic, picking Omar Morales for the win. Fun fight. Also, the higher level experience for Morales is a factor too. Next one is Parker Porter versus Jailton Almeida. It's weird to see Jailton Almeida at heavyweight, but like nobody wants to fight this guy at 205. I'm going to pick Jailton Almeida, but note this, the odds are extremely wide here. Parker Porter is a plus 500 underdog. Jailton Almeida around minus 800. Best value minus 624 here. I feel like Jailton Almeida should be able to land takedowns, control Parker Porter, and TKO him or submit him in the second. I'm going to kind of lean towards the TKO side. Parker Porter, though, is a huge individual. He weighs in at the up cap, 263 in the last one, taking on Almeida, who was 203 for his light heavyweight fight against Danilo Marquez. Like, the guy's got a lot of hype, and he looks really good. But this is a weight class up. Parker Porter could still be live in this spot. There's a chance he goes the distance. If they're standing up, striking, Almeida was knocked out once before. And if a big punch lands from a guy as big as Parker Porter, Almeida could be going to sleep. So I would suggest maybe laying off of, putting Almeida in everybody's parlays, which, I think a lot of people will do, because Parker Porter could be a huge spoiler here. And at the plus money, maybe you're playing Parker Porter when the props drop. Maybe you throw down Parker Porter win by knockout. You're going to get at least probably a plus 600 or more line for it, and it's not impossible. I'm going to pick Almeida to win. I'm going inside distance. If I have to give a method, I'm going to say TKO. I don't know if he gets the submission of Parker Porter. And if it went the full 3, I wouldn't be too shocked either, because there's a serious size difference, and Parker Porter is on a 3-fight winning streak. I don't think we can really sleep on Parker Porter too much here. The line is just extremely wide and skewing the viewpoint. Now, that being said, Almeida's tremendous on the floor. He's got good Muay Thai. He's looking like a super athlete, super strong. At 205, he is a problem. Parker Porter is a fairly well-rounded heavyweight. He does have a bit of pop in his hands, but known for pressure-heavy game, decent wrestling, definitely good defensively, and he's just a huge individual. His thighs are humongous, and I feel like it's not going to be easy for Almeida to just take him down and destroy him. If he does, bravo. The odds, I guess, were right, but I think Parker Porter gives a tougher fight than the bookies are predicting here. So I'm going I'm going Jailton Almeida to beat Parker Porter, but Parker Porter knockout prop bet may be worth a stab when it drops. We'll check it out. Tune in throughout the week, because we'll definitely be talking about some potential props to make. But we're picking Jailton Almeida for the win, and I'm going to say KO, TKO on the floor. Next fight is our featured prelim. Joseph Holmes versus Alen Amedovski. I'm going to go the Amedovski side. I know he's coming off a 14-second loss to a guy that really isn't too good in John Phillips, but I'm really not impressed with Joseph Holmes' game. He seems like a raw talent here. I know he's 7-2, so like record-wise, they're not far off from one another, 7-2 versus 8-2. But Amedovski does have a bit of pop in the hands. The thing is, can he close the distance and maybe even land takedowns on Joseph Holmes? That's a big if. But if Amedovski can get in close range, he does have the punching power that I think could be a difference maker. He's known for the knockouts. In the UFC, we haven't really seen a lot of them. Unfortunate fight against John Phillips, knocked out in 14 seconds. The Krzysztof Jotko loss, it was fairly competitive, but Jotko's just too high level for him. Now, 2.5 years off, that could be 2.5 years of improvement, or 2.5 years we're going to get serious ring rust. The reason I'm leaning Amedovski as well, training alongside tough talent. I've seen him training with Khamzat Chimaev, training with that team over, the Stockholm guys, the All-Stars. And then he's also training with Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, getting sparring rounds in with some of the best guys in the weight class. I feel like he can be ready for Joseph Holmes here. Don't be surprised if Amedovski looks to wrestle a bit. He's got a close distance. Holm is really rangy. He's a long fighter, but he doesn't have a ton of pop in the hands. He's a little bit of a raw talent. I think that Amedovski has the physical strength edge. Now, of course, he's going to have to get past a 6-inch height and reach difference. So it's a scary bet. But I think Amedovski does. I think mixing in takedowns, pressing on Joseph Holmes, maybe we see Amedovski getting his hand raised with a finish over Joseph Holmes. I'm going to say second round or third round TKO for him here. Now, as far as the lines, Amedovski is plus 173. Joseph Holmes minus 186. I'm going to go the Amedovski side. It's a scary play as a dog, but I think that he's going to come through and get the knockout win here. Pretty good prelim card. We're going to jump up to the main. The first one is Eryk Anders and Jun-Young Park. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm going to pick the Jun-Young Park side. I think he's the more versatile striker. He's quicker on his feet. Eryk Anders is very forward pressure heavy style of fighting. I think Jun-Young Park is going to cut angles on him, outstrike him with the hands, keep a high pace of movement. If Eryk Anders can get control of Park, grind him against the cage, that's probably best case scenario for him. But Park has wrestling in the back pocket. He does have a decent wrestling game. Eryk Anders, yes, definitely the naturally bigger guy, but this fight's at 185. I sometimes feel like Eryk Anders fights better up a weight class at 205. Against 85, cutting a fair amount of weight. I think the gas tank maybe is an issue a little later, but the durability of Anders is always extremely live. He tends to be a guy that's just hard to put away. I believe he's only been stopped one time, and that was, I believe, Thiago Santos. Now I got to double check it here. But it was a long time ago. Thiago Santos, TKO retirement, 3rd round. That's 2018. He's not a guy that gets finished. Eryk Anders is a super athlete. I think Jun Young Park is prepared for the 3 rounds, and I think he wins a unanimous decision over Eryk Anders. And what's an interesting clash of styles, like pressure-heavy game, very physically strong guy versus Park, who's not a big middleweight by any means, but a quick one who has a bit of power in the hands. I mean, he had Gregory Rodriguez badly hurt in that fight, and then obviously he was beaten, but still, good performance there, and Jun Young Park has beaten some decent guys. Now, as far as the lines for this one, Jun Young Park is a fairly big favorite, minus 212. Eryk Anders, plus 200. I don't like how wide the line is. I think that's incorrect. I think that this fight's a little bit closer than that. They're giving Park a little bit, maybe too much of a push there, but he probably gets the win. I just feel like Eryk Anders is never an easy out for anybody with his durability and his athleticism. We're going Jun Young Park, win by a decision. Next fight of the night, Polyana Viana versus Tabatha Ricci. I'm going the Tabatha Ricci side here. She has a really good jiu-jitsu game, judo black belt and Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, competing in grappling and doing really well. She's scrappy on the stand-up, has some amateur Muay Thai background with her. I feel like on the feet, she's definitely going to be looking to close distance and get Polyana Viana to the floor. We've seen Viana taken down a few times and then get submissions off of her back. I don't see her submitting Tabatha Ricci. Now, note this, Polyana Viana, the taller girl, 5'5" to 5'1", 67-inch reach to 62-inch reach. I think Polyana Viana definitely has the better boxing of the two, but she's got a very upright style, and the chin is up high. Ricci likes to reach with overhands and then look to clinch up. I definitely think she can land some overhands off the top. I think there'll be some takedowns mixed in here. If Ricci's on top, I don't think Viana has the jiu-jitsu to threaten her significantly from the bottom. Though Viana has a decent ground game, I think Ricci a little bit above. I feel like on the feet, Viana's got her best chance if she can just keep that distance and do kind of what Manon Fiorot did and pick Ricci apart. But I feel like the distance management of Viana is not there, and I see her getting hit a lot more. Tabatha Ricci also has a good amount of toughness. I mean, she got beat up by Manon Fiorot, and she did get stopped there, but she's still on her feet at the very end of the fight. She was dropped, she was touched up bad, but she showed a lot of toughness, and that's a big factor here, I think, against Polyana Viana. Ricci's going to be pressing for the takedowns. I see her landing them. I see her getting on top, and I see her winning a unanimous decision over Polyana. Now, as far as the line, pretty close here. Ricci minus 114, Viana plus 110. I'm going to go that Tabatha Ricci side to win, and I'm going to say by decision. I think that the takedowns are a big difference maker, and also Polyana Viana's hitability on the feet. She's got quick hands. She knocked out Amanda Ribas on the regional scene, but the chin is up high. Overhands could definitely land for Tabatha, who does have a Muay Thai background as well. Let's keep running up. Featured bout of the night, Chidi Njokuani versus Duško Todorović. I love the Chidi Njokuani side here. I think he's going to knock Duško out. Duško's a very heavy pressure fighter who throws a lot of volume. Granted, his head is on the center line for most of it. He tries to mix in takedowns, but he's not an incredible wrestler. Chidi has the reach advantage. I think he's the quicker striker of the two. I think he's the harder puncher of the two. And he's also really good on the floor. Chidi Njokuani's ground game isn't given enough love. He's a very well-rounded fighter. I think he can beat Duško Todorović everywhere here. I think Chidi's going to knock Duško out in the second round. I think it's probably going to be a straight punch down the center as Duško's trying to close distance. That hurts him. And then Chidi probably follows up with a bit of ground and pound. Chidi also controls that distance super well for a guy that's 6'3" with an 80-inch reach. He knows how to use it. Good front kicks up the center. I think he's got some power in his hands, and I think he's going to put Duško down. I just feel like Duško's game, too hittable on the feet. Now, Duško does have really good high kicks. He's got great dexterity in his legs. But in this matchup here, I think he's just technically outmatched on the feet, and I don't think he has the wrestling or the grappling chops to threaten Chidi either. I'm very confident Chidi Njokuani gets a stoppage here. Chidi is a minus 180 favorite. Duško Todorović, the plus 165 dog. Chidi has been through the grinder. Bellator veteran, a lot of fights throughout his career, and finally makes it to the UFC, and he capitalized huge in the last one over Marc-Andre Barriault. And he capitalizes again here, and I'm excited to see where Chidi can go at 185. He's a damn fun guy to watch, and he has a hard style, especially for a lot of these more kickboxing-heavy fighters. I think Chidi beats a lot of them. Win for Chidi and Njokuani over Duško Todorović. Co-main event, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Michel Pereira. I think this is going to be a great fight, and I think Michel Pereira wins it. Ponzinibbio's got very heavy hands, pressure-heavy kickboxing game. I feel like Pereira definitely moves better, keeps his distance better, and Ponzi's a bit more hittable down the center. Also, age difference is a factor here. Ponzi on the wrong side of 35 now. Michel Pereira is only 28 years of age. He's going to be getting better and better each time that he fights. He's got great multi-shot combos. He has that wild man kickboxing style. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio is going to get touched up from distance here. I do think he'll have moments in the fight. Could definitely touch the chin of Michel Pereira, but Pereira is definitely a guy that can take a good punch. And he's got a ton of experience too. 27-11 at only 28. There's a reason we think Michel's older than that. I mean, 27-11, that's a ton of fights at 28 years of age. And he's been through it. I mean, he took a loss earlier in his UFC run, that Tristan Connolly loss, the Diego Sanchez DQ. Now he's turning the corner. 4-fight win streak. The last one, big win over Andre Fiallo, who's a hot prospect for sure at welterweight with a big knockout over Baeza and then Cameron Van Camp. I think Santiago Ponzinibbio also probably the best days are behind him. His best way to win this fight is probably trying to get a hold of Pereira, take him to the floor, look for submissions from the top, do a little bit of the striking, but more so mixing in the wrestling to stop that rhythm. Because when Pereira gets into it, he's extremely tough to beat. I think he's too tough to beat for Ponzi here. Michel Pereira win by a unanimous decision in the potential fight of the night. Now, the odds are extremely close. It's a pick'ems. -110 Pereira, +103 for Ponzinibbio. I like the Michel Pereira side. I think he can just do more on the feet. He's got 100% takedown defense accuracy. I see him stopping the Ponzi takedowns, and I feel like we're going to see Ponzinibbio maybe not washed out of the weight class, but definitely set back once again. And Pereira, I mean, with the win here, works towards getting a ranked opponent for sure, because he's proven himself time and time again. Michel Pereira for the win over Santiago Ponzinibbio. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash the hell out of the like button and subscribe. If you're new, Holm versus Ketlen Vieira. I gotta pick the Holm side. Now, I don't like that she's over 40, hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. It was a year and 7 months. She picked apart Irene Aldana and also beat her up on the floor too. Holm is just great everywhere. Her movement's incredible. She's a former pro boxing champion, former UFC champion, incredible kickboxing game, great multi-shot combos. I think Ketlen Vieira is outmatched in the speed department clearly. I see Holm landing multiple shots when Vieira is only going to really be able to land one. Now, Vieira is a very physically strong girl. She does have a solid ground game. She's very strong in the clinch. You look at that loss to Yana Kunitskaya, I thought she won the fight clearly. So she probably deserves to be riding right now 3 in a row. And then Irene Aldana did put her to sleep flat out. I don't see Holm landing that same dynamite shot. I think Vieira is definitely going to respect the stand-up game of Holm more than she did to Aldana in that fight where she got caught bad. That was a bad knockout. I think Holm's kickboxing is going to be on display, but don't be surprised when she looks to mix in takedowns on Vieira. Vieira's takedown defense is good, but I could see Holm timing takedowns and finding her way on top. Still, though, I see this as a very technical kickboxing, like MMA. It's going to be everything, though. It'll be a bit of everything, but I think more so standing up. I feel like the chess match is going to be on display here. Holm knows how to play that point fighting game, and I think she knows how to play it better than Ketlen Vieira, especially over the 5 rounds. Vieira was hit a little bit by Miesha Tate. I think Holm definitely touches her up, landing the more significant strikes. Holm win by a unanimous decision over Ketlen Vieira. And what do? I mean, maybe Holm fights for the belt if Juliana Pena beats Amanda Nunes in their fight. So, interesting situation. Holm is a fairly big favorite, though, -215. Ketlen Vieira, the +203 dog. I like that Holm side for the win. I think she's going to get it done. The stand-up game, going to be on display, but the smart patience that she brings, that patient pressure style, baiting her opponent in and counter striking. Holly Holm does it at an extremely elite level, and I think she beats Ketlen Vieira here, who's got more of that Muay Thai stance. I feel like Holly Holm is just so much more versatile standing up, and that's a big difference maker. And then Vieira doesn't have the wrestling chops to take Holm down, control her from the top position. I'd be shocked, actually, if Ketlen Vieira just takes Holm down at will, gets on top, and easily dominates for a decision. Like, I don't think it's possible. I think Holly Holm has got her beaten in the grappling department and in the stand-up department, but Ketlen Vieira is going to be there. She's super physically strong. She's a beast. She's a really tough girl, and I think she can take the shots that Holm throws at her and go the full 5. So Holly Holm win by a unanimous decision. That is the UFC Vegas 54 card. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the picks. If you just enjoyed the content, drop a W in the chat for your boy to boost the algorithm. And also, throw me the grade you're giving this card. If I had to throw a grade, I'm going to give it a C+ rating. We'll see, though, because those C+ cards sometimes have the best fights. Much love, my people. I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.